Hi, this is Tara Green, and it is September the 9th, 2020, and I've kind of waited to the last minute to put up this video. So here is the chart for the exact time when Mars turns retrograde September 9th at 6:22 p.m. That's Eastern Daylight Time. That's for set to New York City here. So Mars will go retrograde at 28 degrees Aries, 08 minutes, and it will go retrograde until November 13th, 14th, when it then turns stationary again at 15 degrees, 14 minutes. Okay, so it's moving back basically through the latter half of Aries. So that's a pretty big, like half a sign. Okay, now Mars hasn't been retrograde in 2 years. I don't think it's been retrograde in Aries since the 80s, I believe. And so you can see in this chart, I know it looks very complex here, Mars is squaring Saturn within 2 degrees. And so those two planets, called the malefics traditionally, which means bad or hard, making that 90-degree angle, intensifies the heaviness of this transit. Now, if everybody thinks they're moving ahead from COVID-19, forget it. I do not believe that's going to happen. Whatever they're trying to move things forward, everybody's going to have to go back. I mean, because Mars rules Aries, so Mars is very powerful in its home sign. Saturn is also in its own home sign. So these two planets are both, ruling the roost here. And you know that 2020 has been initiated all the hard times in 2020. COVID-19 in some ways was initiated by Saturn and Pluto's conjunction at 22 degrees Capricorn on January the 12th. Now, so for Aries, of course, and for Scorpio, because it is your ruling planet, it is going to be extra challenging for you because Mars is spontaneous, it's fiery, it's the first sign of the zodiac, it's the initiator. It rules men, it's testosterone, it's action, fire, anger, war, Mars the warrior. Okay, so all of that action, Mars moving retrograde. Now, it is not time to freak out. Retrograde times are good rest, reset, renewal, regenerate, anything that starts with RE. The symbol for retrograde is a capital R. Sorry, things are popping up there on my screen. Capital R, little x, it's the same symbol as, pharmacy. So it is a good time. And so I believe that this is a time over the next, 2 months plus to reset, and so for everybody in the world, this is the big reset. So it's pretty intense. COVID-19 has, of course, caused a lot of death and sadness and all kinds of, financial fallout. And now Mars, the action planet, cannot move forward. So this is a critical test. Saturn is the planet of testing, karma, obstacles. And so, for Mars especially, it's like, they're always revving that car. They like speed, they like danger, they like to go fast. They do not understand patience. So for Aries, this is a big, hard, difficult karmic test about patience. So it is about knowing when to move forward and when to rest. It is literally waving the white flag. If you take the metaphor of the warrior, wave the white flag, surrender. Okay, you cannot move forward at this time. Go back and retrace. Go back to the battle plans. Look at what are you fighting for? Is it worth the fight? And reevaluating all of that. Okay, so generally energy will be low. Okay, will be low because the life force is inhibited. It's not moving forward. It's the libido. But moving retrograde is a good thing. In traditional Chinese medicine and Tantra, the men control their sexual energy, their libido, their vital force. They recirculate it, and that's exactly what toxic masculinity that's totally run unconsciously. Really, it's ideal to learn how to do that. It's way more empowering for men, for women as well, for the men to recycle and to hold on to their sexual energy and to use it productively, not destructively. So I think that this can be a very positive thing. So it's a time to go within, underground, into a more feminine mode, to rest. I know most people are kind of tired of resting, but this is a deeper inwards look. It's the masculine needs to go inside and look within. So it is a kind of an alchemical return, rebirth process. That's what this is all about. Now, for Scorpios, a feminine water sign, it's the nighttime sign that Mars rules. You know, they are naturally more secretive, internalized. So it's going to be easier for Scorpios to hold that energy back. But, you know, holding back all that sexual energy can also bring on a lot of repressed anger. We can use it to do a lot of sexual healing during this time, actually, where the out of control masculine has been used to rape, to abuse, to, you know, burn witches in the past, you know, whatever it is, emotional abuse. So we want to go back. There can be a lot of secrets that can come out, deeper secrets, you know, even all the pedophilia and the child trafficking and all that stuff. That can be, you know, what comes out, you know, in a positive way at this time, maybe quite shocking actually, because we're going to dig deeper. You know, Scorpio is the soul. So the soul is going into a kind of, maybe a kind of a life review at this point, because we are at a critical junction. So, you know, you want to look at the more positive sides of this. All retrogrades are positive signs, okay? Now, so you do want to look at in your own natal chart the sign of Aries where it occurs in your chart, and to kind of mark off from the 29th degree, because Mars is going retrograde at the 28th, which is the 29th degree. The most critical degree, all the 29th degrees are the most critical degrees, and back to the 15th, which is also a very powerful degree because it is the crest of a wave. If you see, there are 30 signs of the degrees in the chart. It starts with 0. It's kind of like a wave, a sine wave. You could think of it's the beginning. It peaks at 15 and then comes back down at 30. So, you know, when Mars actually stops its retrograde on November 13th, 14th, that's actually the peak of that energy. So it could be a big blast forward at that time, okay? But do be careful about unconsciously hurting yourself, using any kind of fires, anything that could explode, electricity. It could be, you know, there could be a lot of volcanic activity. There could be explosions, you know, wars being started for sure. Old wars, because we're going back to things that started in the past, Mars retrogrades. Of course, countries that have, you know, Mars on those degrees that Mars will trigger as it goes retrograde will be affected the most. I don't really have that list right on the tip of my tongue right now, but you want to look personally at how Mars retrograde is going to affect you. Now, I want to mention one more thing. As you can see in the chart here, there's Mars in Aries, and it's right beside Lilith. Now, Lilith is known as being the first woman. She's the first woman before Eve. She is the dark goddess, and she is a very powerful goddess. And she, you know, has been symbolized as being kind of this rageful, vengeful goddess, but that's only because, from the patriarchal's point of view, it is a time to go back and visit that dark, feminine, repressed energy, which men are afraid of. So generally, because this represents what they call her, the Whore of Babylon, they made her into a vampire. That's not what she is. She is women in her full-blown free sexuality, which is very intense and powerful, that men have always felt threatened by. But during this time, men and women, or whatever gender you are, can go back and deal with the dark, unconscious, denied feminine energy, which is full-blown, beautiful in her power. The other thing I want to mention, yes, so in your chart, look at where Mars is, look at where it's going to retrograde, look at what other aspects, squares, conjunction, oppositions it makes if it crosses your ascendant. Again, you're going to go back and kind of renew, review, get a makeover, you know, all of that kind of thing. I mean, Mars is also still squaring Pluto, you can see there, and Mars and Pluto both, of course, co-rule Scorpio in the modern astrology. So again, amping up how powerful Mars is here, you know. The other thing I wanted to mention here is that there is also a nice positive energy offsetting all this, which is there's a trine, a nice trine there between, where are we here? Well, Neptune's opposite the Sun, actually, on this day. So this chart is like a birth chart, kind of a progenitor, which is what Mars is all about, of what this cycle is going to be about for the next 2 months. And for this, you know, based on Eastern Daylight Time there, it's got a 28 Aquarius rising opposite 28 Leo, which is traditionally the former sign of Regulus, the star of kings. And that's actually, I know that's Donald Trump's Mars and his ascendant there as well. That we're heading into the age of Aquarius, actually. We have Ceres and Pisces there, excuse me, on the ascendant. So something about you know, the divine feminine has a strong influence here. You know, the south node is in Sagittarius, just moving off that galactic center actually, in the 10th house. So we need to look at history, at education, at international affairs, at where we've been, because this is important to this too. I mean, all of the Capricorn planets, Jupiter there as well, in the 11th house, traditionally of Aquarius. Again, we're getting ready to go into that Aquarian new energy. This is just a kind of retracing our steps here. What else can we say here? All right, moon's in Gemini. At the bottom of the chart here, actually at the I see. So that we need to work with our duality. That sense of duality is the opposites. I just want to say that you need to be careful because there's a sense of poisons as well here. This is what I'm picking up intuitively. There's a sense of poisons, which is Mars and Scorpio rules poisons. So do be careful of what you eat, what you intake, water. We're dealing on the Scorpio side of this. You know, there's some deep things that are going to be uncovered during this time. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. So if you want to get in touch with me, I'm at tarot.com. You can follow me on my blog at infinitynow.wordpress.com. I'm going to post the U.S. chart and its progress chart, because also the U.S. had its Mars in a progress chart going retrograde since 2006, and it is very powerful in terms of the whole COVID-19 and also now. So I'm going to post that on my blog at infinitynow.wordpress. If you need help, I'm going to be posting more videos and doing a live one where we can interact probably on Facebook. So I'll let you know about that. So don't freak out. This is a time to go within, a good time. We need to kind of prepare our actions, our battle plan ahead of time. You know, also speaking of battle time, the asteroid, where is she? Athena. Where is Athena there? Yeah, she's up there in Capricorn. Okay. And Hygeia there, which is not an asteroid I usually put in there, but she's there at 29 degrees Cancer, interesting, opposite Saturn. So again, there's going to be issues around, you know, Mars is squaring that as well. Okay, so this is very in the 6th house of work, of service, and also Juno, the goddess of multitasking, multidimensional feminine genius, is there too. So really there's a cardinal fixed cross as Mars goes retrograde. Okay. So I don't think anybody's going out. We're all going to be home again for the next couple months, so we should get used to that. Also, there can be, again, there was fires. Those fires there's going to be a problem with that over the next while as well. So wishing you all the best blessings. Over and out.